Well, good morning. Welcome to Beneath the Plates. I'm your host, Jared Elrod, aka the Iron Chaplain, aka I don't, is that how you say it? Becoming Aquaman. Anyways, I gotta have two brands. Whatever. It is what it is. Okay, let's jump in to today's episode. I am 31 minutes into my walking. I was marking a buddy of mine. So let's go. Today we're gonna talk about just getting started. Okay. Like just getting going and essentially how to overcome perfectionist isms. Okay, just being a perfectionist. So many people are held back by, and I'm held back by this. In fact, I've been starting these off with stories. Let's tell a story. When I was a kid, I was like second grade, first grade, first or second grade. Let's go with first grade. I think I was first grade. I in my classroom, we had this like free activity time. And it wasn't like free time. It wasn't like when we go outside and play. But what we would do is we could pick like a different activity for the day. And so, we have this big classroom. I mean, I'm in first grade. I don't know how big the classroom was. It felt big. And, you could grab the blocks. You could go over to, there was a section that was set up like a house. And you could play house. There's all these different things you could do. And for a season, what I would do is me and this other kid, I don't remember his name. I don't even really remember what he looks like all that much. But we were going to, there was an area where you could get like construction paper and do like crafts with construction paper. And we decided we were going to build a tank out of construction paper. No, none of us, neither of us had any origami skills or parents, siblings, or anything like that were, teaching us how to do this. We just, oh, excuse me, hold on. Okay, I cleared the throat there a little bit. It was weird. I've been talking all morning, so it's not like this was my first time talking. Anyways, let's get back to this. We we just decided. I think it was my idea. I was into tanks, and I was like, let's make a tank out of construction paper. And this was totally my idea. And so it's like, okay, we gotta go into a preparing phase. And so you'd have a little box that because they didn't expect you to finish every craft that day. So you'd have like a little box with a name on it that you could put like your scraps and your pieces and things in as you're working on stuff. So every day memory wise feels like months. This would have been at least weeks. We were prepping to build a tank. And so we were cutting out pieces, right? I don't even know. We didn't even know what kind of pieces were needed. So we were just cutting out like random shapes, I guess. And we did this for, again, it felt like months. It's probably weeks. And we're just cutting out these pieces. And I remember this one girl would come by and she's like, "What are you guys doing?" And, the first day we told her, "Oh, we're going to build a tank." Well, okay. So like, what? Like, "Oh, we're cutting out the pieces, da da da." So we just every day, right? Never tried to build a tank. Never even like got to the point where it was like, "Oh, okay, we're cutting out random shapes. How are they actually going to become a tank?" It was just every day was cutting these pieces out. Nope, we need a little more. Nope, we need some more. Got to just cut these pieces. We're preparing. And I remember at one point the girl was like, a week into it or something. She comes by and she's like, "Don't you think that you've probably cut enough pieces to start trying to build a tank?" "Nope, gotta get more. It's gotta be perfect." And one day I was absent. I wasn't there. And I came back to school the next day, all ready to go. Maybe I missed a Friday or something. I don't know. I come back to school and I grab my little buddy. I'm like, "Let's go work on our tank." And he's like, "Oh, I did it." And I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, I built it." I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, I built it yesterday. When Now, maybe he did. I don't know. The story could go either way. I kind of took it as like he did it. Like I look back on it and took it as like he just got stuck with me. Like it was a good idea, but then like he got stuck into my crazy prepping of this tank and just wanted to do something else on his break. And so he just lied and said that just to get away from me. It's also very possible that I spent all this time prepping and all we had to do was basically build it, and he did. Either way, I don't ever remember hanging out with this kid again. And I remember getting the distinct impression as a kid, like he just wanted to get away from me. And I was kind of sad. And I was like, oh, like, and I realized, oh, okay, that was weird behavior. And it cost me a friendship. And now I'm sitting here with a box full of scraps, no tank, and no friend. Like, I kind of screwed this up. We probably should just try to build a tank. It makes me think of, is it Reese? Michael Reese? Anyways, the MVP, right? Minimal viable product. And I remember learning this because I was very much the perfectionist. Like, one day we're going to do this. I still struggle with this a little bit. Like, one day. No, we're not ready. One day we'll do it. One day we'll get there. One day we'll be ready to do it. And I remember him talking about the MVP, the minimal viable product. And basically, like, it's like bare basic components you can build the minimal viable product to test if it's even going to work. Like, why build the entire thing? In fact, we're just watching a Disney special last night, and they showed like a test prototype of Peter Pan's, well, not really Peter Pan's, but for the Peter Pan ride, the flying pirate ship. And it was literally just like an L shape of metal, flat metal, with a little bench welded in so that people could get on it and fly around. Wasn't safe, definitely wasn't aesthetic, just to make sure the concept was going to work before they actually built out and designed and decorated this entire pirate ship. And so he gave the example in his book, and he basically taught, I think it's called Lean Startup, I believe is the book. Eric Ries? Yeah, not Michael, I think it's Eric Ries. And he basically talked about the idea of, let's say you have to seal, like, stuff 1,000 envelopes. So you got to fold up the letters, you got to put them in the envelope, you have to seal it, and then you have to put a stamp on it and mail them out. And he talked about how, like, conventional wisdom would say, hey, let's batch this. So let's sit here and take the 1,000 letters and let's fold them. And then we'll come back and then we will stuff them in the envelopes. And then we'll come back and we'll, lick the seals, probably use a sponge or a towel, and seal them, and then we'll come back and put all the stamps on, because doing the same action like that, like an assembly line, is going to be the most efficient way to do it. And he said, yes, but the problem is, what happens if you get partway through this and you realize part of your process wasn't going to work? And so now let's say something to do with the stamps aren't going to work, right? And so now you've folded 1,000 letters, you've stuffed 1,000 letters, you've sealed 1,000 letters, just to get like 100 in on the stamping to realize, oh wait, this isn't going to work. We wasted all this time. He says, what if instead you just started stuffing letters, like the whole process, to understand the process, and you got 100 into the 1,000 and realized, oh, there's a problem here. We're going to have to do this differently. And so, like, that whole assembly line thing is really only once a process is like been created and makes sense, right? And I remember being like, oh yeah, that makes sense, because you spend all this time and you wait to the end before you figure out it doesn't work. And so I kind of evolved from let's get it all perfect, let's sit and cut all the pieces until it's all perfect, and then we can form the tank, to how, like, let's just start. And so I got this, I think what I used to call it was like, well, I had two different versions in my mind. Like the 80% model, where, like, listen, doing something 80% of the time, 90 to 100% of the time, consistency is going to be much more successful in the long run than doing it 100% perfect 10% of the time. And so this really applies, obviously, to the gym, because what's going to be better? Now, this is assuming we're not talking about like bad form where you hurt yourself. Because you hurt yourself, now you're done, right? You can't work out for a while. But we're just talking about, like, oh, well, if you switch from this method to this method, if you went from hypertrophy to strength training, or vice versa, right? You could, yes, but at the same time, just getting there and doing it, even if it's not the most efficient, as long as they're not hurting themselves, is going to be more efficient in the long run than going to the gym twice a week and having everything perfect, right? So And the other thing I started adopting to help me with this was the mindset of just building it. And there's a scripture that talks about like not despising small beginnings. I think someone just walked in the building. Not despising small beginnings. And that helped me to like, oh, okay, let's just start something at its MVP, like it's very basic. And then we can grow it. And it can take on life. And then the good thing about that is if 9 out of 10 times it's not going to work out, we didn't invest a ton into this thing. We started with the minimal thing it needs to be, and then we can move on to the next thing. But if it is going to work out, it can start to grow and it can get bigger and bigger and bigger. And then it's eventually to the 100% what it could have been in the beginning. And so like for me with the gym, how this looked is I had so many concerns. I didn't know I grew up working out with my grandpa, but I'd gotten overweight. I'm like, do I need to lose weight? Should I just be going and doing cardio? Should I be working out? Like I had all these things I didn't know what to do. Like, like I wanted to gain muscle, but at the same time, I'm like, I got all this weight to lose. I'm like 100 pounds overweight. And so I just started going to the gym and I started doing what I called crappy workouts. So I'd go to the gym and I'd sit there. And I actually have a picture I have a few pictures, but I have one in particular I think of where I'm sitting on a bench in front of the free weights. I'm in like a pair of pajama pants because I didn't have workout clothes, like a superhero t-shirt, I think like an open zip up sweatshirt and a COVID mask because you still had to wear masks at this point when I got back in the gym. At least we could go back to the gym. I didn't try to start when you couldn't work out in the gym. This was after you could go back to the gym. You just had to wear a mask and social distancing and all that. And so, yeah. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, what am I even doing? This is pathetic. But I'm like, well, I got to start somewhere. And I don't know what I need to know until I start doing it. It was like I could sit at home and because I've been listening to motivational YouTube videos. I've been watching, Jesse James West and C-Bum and other things. I'm like, so I can keep doing that, which is akin to cutting out these pieces for the tank. Or I can try to figure out how to build a tank and then realize what kind of pieces I need to cut out. So I went ahead and I got the membership. I started going to the gym. I started off with like just really lightweight, like my form's not good. I don't really know what I'm doing. So let's just use lightweight so I'm not hurting myself. And that begins to build consistency and confidence. And then, I started losing a little bit of weight and I'm like, okay, all right, now let me try some of this dieting stuff. Start to lose a little more weight. Oh, I'm feeling pretty good. And so let me do a little more research. Let me get an actual workout plan. I'm just kind of going in and doing whatever I feel like. Let me get an actual workout plan. Hey, let me get this book on, let me start putting together workouts based on kind of what I'm trying to do. And then I was like, hey, let me actually sign up for a program where an actual coach or someone else is putting it together. And they actually know what they're talking about rather than just me deciding I want big arms and I'm just going through my book and picking some arm exercises. Or, oh, it's leg day. I hate leg day. Let me pick the easiest leg exercises to put together. And so it began to grow. And now I'm like halfway through my classwork to be a CPT, a certified personal trainer. But I would have, imagine if I decided in the beginning, well, let me become a certified personal trainer. This was like almost 5 years ago. Let me just become let me go through, I don't really have the money for that right now or the time for that right now. I'm not really in shape for that. Oh, I don't know. And it would have become this endless cycle. So I'm a big fan of what I call crappy workouts. And when I say crappy workouts, I don't mean bad form. I don't mean doing something that's going to hurt yourself. It's always better to skip the gym than to go to the gym and hurt yourself. Like, obviously, you tear a muscle. Yep, would have rather skipped today. Wish I could go back in time. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about crappy workouts on days that you just don't feel like it. So I had a crappy workout yesterday. So my normal is I go into the gym. I have a program built by a coach. And I do the program and I record my workouts. And I haven't been to the gym in several days because I've been struggling. So I'm like, you know what? Why? I haven't been able to get myself there. And it's related to like the bipolar and the mental state and all that kind of stuff and a bunch of stuff going on. And after several days, I'm like, look, who knows how long I'm going to be in this funk before my moods shift and I'm going to get back in the gym. I don't want to lose a ton of time. This is what I used to do, even here, once I moved here, is I'd work out really consistently for, 5-6 days a week 2-3 weeks at a time. And then my moods would shift, and then I'd get out of that. And then I wouldn't work out for, 2-3 weeks. So then I'd go back into it. And it was this back and forth. And so I was like, man, I'm starting to get stuck in that pattern again. And I haven't gotten stuck in that for a while because I implement what I call crappy workouts. I'm like, I need to do a crappy workout. So at first I was like, you know what? I'm not going to record. I need to record. I need to get the next gym vlog episode. But I've needed to do that for the last 3 days, and I'm just not doing it. So let's drop the pressure. Let's not record. And so I get in the gym and I'm still not feeling it. I don't think I can do this. So I'm like, okay, well, let's not worry about the program. Let's take it down another level. Let's a crappy workout is better than no workout. If for nothing else, I'm still stimulating muscles and stuff too, even if I'm not growing, at least to keep muscles from going the opposite. But it's also then going to trigger me to then be better the next day, and then I'll get back into the groove and the swing of things, right? So I'm like, you know what? Let me just do a quick arm workout because that's going to be the easiest thing to do. And so I did. Again, I don't want to take all my camera stuff in, but I do have a POV camera I just got. So I fired that thing up and I did a crappy workout. So instead of not going to the gym, because I couldn't go and do the full thing, the full workout with the full gym vlog, I ended up going. I did about a 20-minute arm workout. Again, nothing great, but it did allow me to at least stimulate the muscles. I did bis and tris, and it now is going to make going to the gym the next day, today, easier. Actually, I won't go to the gym today because it's an off day, and I would normally just make up for it, but it's a travel day, so I just won't have time, unfortunately. But then I'll be back on Friday, right? So you get the point. Is it then triggers me to then it makes it a lot easier the next day because I went yesterday and it wasn't I haven't been in several days, and it begins to shift that mental, emotional kind of mindset and emotional set for me out of it. And so even if I have to do a couple days in a row of a crappy workout, then I get back into going full bore. So instead of missing 2 or 3 weeks, I'll miss 2 or 3 days, and I should get shorter on this, and it should be the first day, and I trigger, do a crappy workout. So instead of having 2 or 3 weeks of not working out, worst case scenario, it's 2 or 3 days not working out, and then 2 or 3 days of crappy workouts, and then back to full bore. Or as I get better at this, it's just 2 or 3 days of a crappy workout, and then back to full bore. And I'm it's highly reducing the amount of loss in the gym. It'd be like having some sort of fail safe, so that way you start to lose money in the stock market, and instead of losing $1 million, you end up losing $56,000. And it's I would have rather not lost $56,000, but considering it would have been $1 million, I'm actually pretty happy that my fail safe worked pretty good, right? I only lost 56,000. I'll just get back in there and I can fix that. I can earn that back. So with that, I not only did I get the crappy workout and all those benefits, I also got a basic POV video. So I published that this morning. So instead of having no content, I have a short POV video. And so again, it's better than nothing. And then it spurs me to then get back in. So now I'm kind of itching to do an actual gym vlog where I haven't wanted to. I've had the anxiety of having to do it. And because I just did it, I edited it. I'm like, now I want to get in there and do an actual full-on gym vlog. And so the crappy workouts, not only do they mitigate how much you're losing, at least for me, it then triggers the desire for full action. And so I'm much more primed today. I wouldn't say 100% for a workout, but if I was in the negative wanting to work out yesterday, today I'm at 35% desire to work out, which makes it easier, right? So I would probably go in today with the idea of I'll just do a crappy workout, and then I'd actually probably do a pretty decent workout. I'd probably do a 80-90% workout because I'd get into it, within the first 15-20 minutes and end up doing a full workout. And then with the video side of things, I went from a negative 100, full on social anxiety. The last thing I do absolutely under no circumstances in the sense of it's going to provide, my brain is it's going to cause physical harm to me, which obviously it wasn't. I don't want to record a gym vlog. To today, I'm 100%, 95, 100% desire to want to go in and record a gym vlog. Now I want that content. I'm hungry for it, right? So I went from a negative on both the workout and the recording to, plus 35% on the workout and plus 95, maybe 100% on the recording. So that's kind of the power of like what I call crappy workouts. And I kind of got there from the idea of MVP. Not exactly the same, because MVP would be more of like if you're not working out and you want to get started, versus this concept of crappy workout is more of like keep it going, keep the system going. And this is really helpful for anyone with some sort of mental condition like me, where you're not always feeling it. And I know as humans, everyone goes through this, but I think it's even worse if you have certain conditions. Like like I said with bipolar, I can go for long periods of time just crushing it, 6 days in the gym, and that one day wanting to be in the gym and knowing I need to take a day off, versus days where I'm like, I don't know if I'd want to go I don't want to go to the gym to save my life, much less just to keep, things going. Who cares? Like, I don't want to go. Apathy, right? So it's super helpful. So hopefully that was helpful to you. That's all I've got for today. And yeah, I will see you tomorrow. I think tomorrow, it's not a guarantee, but I think tomorrow it's going to be another bipolar episode. And we're going to talk about how bipolar affects like personality quizzes. Specifically the Enneagram. So if you're a fan of the Enneagram, I'm gonna be talking about how like bipolar and my story of like my craziness of figuring out like why some of my Enneagram numbers were so weird, and eventually it made sense when I realized because of bipolar. So I've actually done a series of shorts on this that will be going out on my social medias as well. So you'll probably see those before too long. But yeah, I think tomorrow that's what we're gonna talk about. And yeah, love you guys. I'll see you. Have a blessed day. I'll see you in the next episode.